Hi, in this QuickBooks video, we're going to take a look at bank reconciliation. This is an area that some people still struggle with. There are some little helps in the process, I think, that will enable you to get over some of the rough spots and maybe get the process done a little bit more efficiently. So that's what we want to focus on. That's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to start that by clicking on the Reconcile icon here on the home page. This is the bank account that I want to reconcile. If you have several bank accounts, you want to be sure you choose the right one there. I'm going to choose the date, the statement date here that's on my bank statement, and that's the one I want, November 30th. The beginning balance is here. Now I'm clicking on that, but there's nothing I can't change that number. The reason for that is set by QuickBooks. What QuickBooks does to get to that number is that it looks at all the transactions in this particular bank account, and it adds up all those that have cleared in previous transactions, and that's the number that you're seeing here, the $71,452. That should match the beginning balance on your bank statement. If it does not, then what has probably happened is that someone has changed or deleted or in some way altered a transaction that was cleared in a previous transaction. Now, previous reconciliation. Now, obviously, that should not happen. If something cleared the bank at $100, it should stay at $100. But occasionally those things do happen, don't they? And that number may have been changed. We'll do another video going into some of the processes that you might go through in order to find an error like that. In this case, this number is correct, so I'm just going to move to the next field here and put in the ending balance. And I've got my bank statement on the other screen. I know you can't see that, but $59,936, that's my number. So there's my ending balance on my statement. If I had a service charge, I would put it in here. If I did, I would make sure that this date matched my statement date. I want that transaction to fall into QuickBooks in the date range that I'm using for this statement or this reconciliation. I'm going to click Continue. So here is our reconciliation window. All of our checks are on this side. All of our deposits are on this side. So one of the first things I want to show you that may be a help to you, if you have a lot of transactions each month and you have a couple of months that have passed since the last time you reconciled, this window could have a lot of information in it. And it just makes it more difficult to find the individual transactions that you're looking for. I can go up here and I can click this checkbox, and QuickBooks will eliminate from this window everything that's after the statement date. So everything that's after November 30th is now gone. I don't have to look at it. It's not going to clear on the November 30th statement, right, if it's later than that. And so it makes it easier to find the transactions that I am looking for. Again, if I have a lot of transactions, and usually that happens on the check side, I may have a little difficulty finding some of them. All of these columns can be sorted. You see this little gray pyramid right here. So everything is in date order right now. I can change that by clicking the column header on one of these other columns. Okay, now we are in check number order. If I click over here, now we are in amount order. Occasionally, this is useful. Lots of transactions, maybe electronic transactions, and there are no check numbers. I'm looking for a certain amount. If I put it in amount, if I sort it by the amount, I know if it's $579, I know that's not here, or it would show right between these two transactions here. So that's always a nice check if I just don't think something is here that should be. You can even sort by payee if you want to. All right, let's put this back into date order, and let's check off the checks here that are showing on my bank statement on the other screen so that we can complete this in a manner that it should be complete. So you can see how the process should go. And actually, I think I want these. There we go. All right, those are the checks. A couple of little things here, and this usually happens on the check side. This amount may be just a little different, maybe, or one of the cleared ones. So it's 5 cents off, something like that. Often, you can correct that just by double-clicking on the transaction. It pulls the check up, and I could change the amount to match what was on the bank statement. Like I said, I would only do that if it was a small amount, but that option is there for you. I would only use that on regular checks. It works well for those. Does not work for paychecks, does not work for bill payments. All you do is you move that problem over to a different area of QuickBooks. So you only want to use it on regular checks. The other thing that happens is perhaps someone has a debit card and there are transactions on the bank statement that are not in QuickBooks. So the receipts didn't get turned in, something like that. Well, I can go to the banking menu and I can open the check form like I had open here just a minute ago, or I can go to the register, either one, and I could record those little miscellaneous not really charges, but transactions, I guess, right here, and just with the original date, all the information, the amount. I could save those, close this, and they would then appear in the reconciliation window. I don't have to close the reconciliation window. I leave that open. I'm still working on it. And those, it will update as soon as I add additional transactions. I can check them out or check them off and then move ahead from there. Well, once I'm done with the check side, I move over here to deposits. I only have one. I'm going to check that off. And when I do that, if I look down here at the right, I see the difference is 0. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to add the transactions I need to or correct anything that I need to. When everything's right, I should have a difference of 0. That said, if I'm doing a complicated reconciliation and I get to this point and it's $1 off, it's probably not worth my time. And I'm talking about myself individually. In my opinion, it's not worth my time to go and find that. And so I'm probably going to move ahead with the dollar error. You would have to kind of make a judgment when you would want to do that. You want that amount to be small. Not a good idea to do that if it's a very large amount of money at all. But if it's a very small amount, I'll do that. And if there is a small difference and I click this reconcile now, QuickBooks will pop up a window. The first thing it'll do is tell me it's not a good idea. But again, I've made the judgment that I'm going to move ahead. Then it gives me an option to have QuickBooks enter an adjustment. And so if I choose that option, if it's $1 that's off, QuickBooks will adjust the bank account balance by $1 so that I can complete the reconciliation with the right dollar amount. And I can start my next bank reconciliation when the time comes to do December, and I'll have the right beginning balance in order to do that. In this case, we have no errors. The amount is 0. I click reconcile now. And I'll get the little report window here. I'm going to choose the detail report. I always create that. You can print it if you want to, or you can just turn it into a PDF and save it somewhere on your computer. Here's the beginning balance. When we started the process, here are the checks that we checked off. Here's the one deposit that we checked off. We get to this line that says cleared balance. That matches the bank ending statement balance right there. These are the transactions that fell within the statement parameters. That is, they're November 30th or older, but they didn't clear. When those are added in, I have a line called register balance as of 11/30. That should match my check register in QuickBooks. That's what I should have for this date in the check register, the $55,117.91. The last section is just transactions after November 30th. They don't have a lot of meaning for me as far as this process goes, but they are there on the report. And so that's it. So hopefully a couple of those little tips there will help you in this process. It's important to have a good bank reconciliation so that you know things are accurate. You'll catch some missing transactions that way, at least most people do. So I hope that was helpful, and thanks for watching.